welcome and welcome back. And this week, a very, very special welcome back to Monster High. Like, it feels so good to be able to say that. I have so many feelings. So I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that Monster High is going to be coming back for a second reboot. And I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of opinions. So let's get started. The news kind of did break first on the Monster High official Instagram when they started deleting old posts and then posting new posts for the first time in several years. The posts were just like their logo. And then a Deadline article came out. I'll have it linked below for you guys if you want to read that in depth. But it came out talking about the fact that Mattel and Nickelodeon are going to be partnering up to make both an animated TV series and then also a live action movie. And again, I'm trying to contain myself. I have a lot of thoughts about this. One of the big things the article talked about was how Monster High had such a big message of individuality and inclusivity and how they want to continue that and kind of bring that forward into this new reboot. And I do think that that's really important. I personally never saw the old webisodes or any of the movies, but I've heard a lot about them. And from what I can tell, they were far ahead of their time in terms of, diverse representation. I know a lot of different people from all walks of life could relate to different characters on Monster High and just relate to the show in general and kind of feel a place of belonging within the fandom. So I do think that it's incredibly important that that continue. I think that that's one of the biggest and most important legacies of Monster High. But of course, I'm nervous. The media has always had an issue of kind of baiting inclusion. The biggest example that I see of this personally is queer baiting. For example, with Rainbow High, a lot of people think that Stella and Jade would be a great couple, and the Rainbow High Instagram will kind of not deny it, but they also won't out and out say, oh yeah, these two girls are lesbians or they're in love or whatever. And it's kind of a thing of, oh, well, it's a maybe, so it gets people who are part of the LGBTQIA community invested in it, but they aren't confirming it so they don't alienate people who are bigots. And I'm sure that also happens with race and body sizes and all kinds of other stuff. I just personally noticed the queer baiting a lot. So I think that the original Monster High somehow miraculously had this incredible message of it's okay to be you regardless of what that means. And I really, really want that to continue going forward. But I am also just nervous. I would really, really hope that they can keep it going. They have the blueprint. It's right there. But just in general, I do kind of get anxious whenever something like this is announced because it's so important. And yet somehow it's messed up so easily. So that's kind of my biggest worry, but also my biggest hope. So we'll have to see how that goes. I do think in general, I think the animated series is going to go just fine. They have, a couple of those series under their belt and then plus all the movies. That's something that Monster High is well familiar with as a franchise. The live action is kind of an interesting choice for me. I know that especially Disney live actions kind of have a history of not living up to their animated counterparts for a lot of people. Some of that does have to do with the nostalgia factor. Some of it has to do with the fact that cartoons can be much more expressive than people. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see how real people can bring life into these absolutely beloved characters. I hope it goes well. Again, I have really, really high hopes. It's just a question of can Mattel meet those? I think that the question on a lot of people's mind is casting issues. And I actually surprisingly think that this might go okay. I think that a big question is the diversity that's going to be represented. But I think about Mattel and especially the Barbie fashionistas that they produce, and that's a very, very diverse line of dolls. So I feel it wouldn't be hard for them to translate casting people of multiple races in a live action Monster High. I think my bigger question is whether there's going to be different sized bodies. I know that the Monster High dolls, you can see behind me, they're all very, very super skinny, and in the webisodes, most of them were super small or very bulky for the guys. And I do think that, especially with cartoons and that sort of thing, style comes more into it, and it's not obviously representation is still a thing, but when things are stylized, you can kind of make proportions more dramatic without it being as big an issue to me. I hope that makes sense. I hope that comes across the way that I want it to. But when you're casting actual people, I think it would be really, really cool to see people of all different body types be represented in Monster High, since it is such like a haven of diversity as a brand. I think that that would be really, really cool. I know a lot of people are hoping to see a lesbian Claudine. Garrett Sanders, the creator of Monster High, had made like Instagram stories confirming that some members of the cast of Monster High were canonically part of the LGBTQIA community, kind of like years after the franchise ended originally. And so a lot of people are hoping that that's going to become explicit on camera. And again, going back to what I said before, I really doubt it. I think that, you know, it's something that companies are towing the line on. I think back to the Beauty and the Beast live action that came out years ago, where two guys were like ballroom dancing in the background of one scene. And that was such a huge deal. And it's like, I don't think that Mattel, frankly, is brave enough to take that step and be open about their characters being gay or queer in any way. I just don't think that they're brave enough to do it, because it's something where, for them monetarily, they're going to make the most money if they can queer bait so that they can get homophobic people and then also queer people to all buy their stuff. Whereas if they make a stand and say, hey, yes, like Claudine is a lesbian and we support that and she's beautiful for that, they're going to alienate some of their potential customers. And personally, I would like that. Like, I don't think that anyone needs to be catering to bigotry, but I don't know that as a corporation, Mattel is going to risk that. I hope they are. Like, I would love that, but frankly, I'm not holding my breath on that one. That being said, I do hope that, like I said, at least in terms of like body size and race and that sort of thing, we can get a little bit more diversity going that way at least. On a less serious note, sorry, I'm like ranting here. The article does specifically mention that the series will feature Draculaura, Frankie, and Claudine, but it doesn't mention any of the other characters by name. I know with the first reboot of Monster High, they kind of did away with Ghoulia, and then we got some new characters like Ari Hauntington. So I am curious to see what original characters they're going to keep, and then if they will bring in any new characters. For me, just like as a nostalgia factor, obviously I want to see all of the old characters come back, but on the other hand, I do understand that it's a new series. It's meant to be something to introduce like a new generation of kids to the world of Monster High. So I hope they keep all the old characters, but I think we can definitely expect some new characters in the mix as well, just to kind of keep it fresh and interesting. So I'm excited to see what they come up with for that one. As far as dolls go, I did see a post floating around Instagram. I couldn't find like an official source for it, so if you can, let me know in the comments and I'll link that below as well. But there are supposed to be some collector dolls coming out later this year that I am very excited about. They're supposed to be kind of re-releases of the original set of Monster High dolls, but amped up to like a collector quality, which is thrilling for me, in theory. But we all know how the original Monster High reboot went, and that was awful. Like, it literally ranged from not great dolls to downright bad dolls. That's a fear. And then also the Monster High like horror movie collector's dolls that came out last year. I know everyone was really thrilled about those, but I heard mixed reviews online about how the quality actually was compared to the price. And that's a scary thing for me to consider. In general, for, you know, a fashion doll price point, Mattel hasn't produced anything near Monster High quality in a very, very long time. Really, since that franchise did end along with Ever After High. And so obviously the hope is that we get kind of the original quality back, but it is scary given their more recent track record. I also think it's just wild because frankly, this is something that could do so much for Mattel. Ever since Monster High and Ever After High fell off, MGA has really been, to me, the shining star of doll brands. They have LOL OMGs, now they have Rainbow High, they're gonna have Bratz come out later this year, which is like also something that's very, very exciting. But so with all that going on for MGA, I think that bringing Monster High back is something that could put Mattel on the map again. It could make them like a serious competitor for MGA. But I think that if they flub this and it's not good quality, they're gonna get a ton of initial sales. And then after that, it's just gonna drop. The stakes to me are very, very high for Mattel with the fact that MGA is producing so many cool things right now. So I hope that they recognize that, and I hope that they don't skimp out and try to capitalize just on the nostalgia. I hope that they really do bring back that quality so that it's not, you know, a flash where, oh, people bought all these collector's dolls and we made a whole bunch of money now, but we're not going to make any more money because people were disappointed. I hope that they can tell that putting in the quality is going to bring more fans and more sales, and, you know, it's going to benefit everybody. That's the dream. But I'm trying not to get too excited. I'm trying not to get my hopes too high because I really don't want to be disappointed again when it comes to Monster High. But, like, also I can't help it. This is thrilling. Monster High was what got me collecting dolls in the first place. And I'm really excited to see, you know, hope on the horizon that maybe there's going to be some more good dolls to come. So, in short, part of me is excited, part of me is terrified, and we'll just have to wait and see. That's kind of where we are at. Of course, I need to hear what you guys are thinking about this. I'm sure a lot of you are excited just like I am, but definitely let me know down in the comments what you're feeling. How likely do you think it's going to be that these are good dolls? How likely do you think it's going to be that the live action and then the animated series are actually good? Let me know what you're feeling, guys, but that is all I have got for y'all today. I hope that you have a good rest of your day, your evening, whatever it may be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys!